Good afternoon, everybody. For those of you that I don't know, my name is Steve Perry. I'm the Director of Category Management for Health and Beauty Care at Imperial. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dwayne from Celtic Marketing today. He's going to talk about the nutritional bar category and all of the good things that are happening in the category and some opportunities that you might be able to take back and help grow your category as well. So, Dwayne.
First, Fran O'Grady from Cliff Bar was supposed to come in, but he had to go in for surgery, and we called him in a day early, so he couldn't make it here today. It's minor surgery, he's fine, it's just he had to take the opportunity when he could get it. That's why I'm here alone today. A little bit of background for me so you know that I'm not just here to speak for Fran. I've been in the specialty natural side of the business for a long time, about 30 years. In the Northeast, I was one of the people that launched the Atkins program back, I don't know, it was like 10 or 12 years ago. And then when I came over to Celtic, they had Cliff Bar, and Cliff puts you through some rigorous training. 2 times a year you go through a whole training process with this category because it is such a big piece of the business, and you'll see today what they put together for us is pretty dynamic. You have a lot of growth. We haven't even scratched the market on the penetration for the consumer, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. If not, there's a dozen eggs back there you can throw at me afterwards. Basically, there's what they call the category here is a portable healthy lifestyle category. And it's broken up into 2 different segments, the health and lifestyle side and the diet side. About 85% of the business is done on the health and lifestyle side, and about 15% is done on the diet side. Within that health and lifestyle segment, there's different categories, and the reason why when you break this down and when you set the sections, it's important to have them segmented that way because the consumer gets a little confused when they're shopping the category. And that healthy snacking segment, that would be Mojo, Kind Bar, Lore Bar, Soy Joy, Enjoy Life. The functional nutrition includes Luna, Zone, Balance, Think Thin, and Kashi. That would be the other segment. And then the kids is really fairly new. Z-Bar came out, I want to say about 4 years ago now. And there's a few other players in there that have opened up. Earth's Best, Monkey Bars, that's another piece of that. And it doesn't include like the fruit roll-ups, it's just the Z-Bar nutritional bars. On the athletic side, that's the energy endurance and the protein recovery. It's basically not, it's athletic people out jogging, people out running, working out, going to the gym. In that energy endurance segment, it's Cliff Bar, Power Bar, and Odwalla. And then the protein recovery, a protein bar should have 20 grams or more in order to be effective. That includes Promax, Pure Protein, Met RX, and Power Bar Protein Plus. And then the diet segment of this includes the Atkins, Balance, Special K, Slim Fast, South Beach. The portable healthy lifestyle, it's very important to really keep the mix updated, make sure that your variety is in check. This is really good information for you to cut the category out of different segments. A couple different things here. The health and lifestyles, bar category has the strongest growth in the entire store. You're going to see some things that I was shocked on this year, especially it's outselling some of the bigger categories in the supermarket. More households are buying the health and lifestyle category than over the past 3 years. The household penetration is still relatively low. There's a lot more growth here to be had. Buying rates are high, so in other words, they're buying multiples. They're coming back into the store to buy more product. They usually buy more than one bar at a time, naturally. Now here, this is a little interesting. It just kind of, wraps up what we were just talking about. The health and lifestyle bars growing at 12.6% annually over a 5-year period. The #1 growth out of 126 categories. Now, if you look at some of these, there's some pretty substantial categories there. You've got coffee, fresh meat, yogurt, wine, cosmetics, jams and jellies. It's really, your penetration isn't there, and we still have the growth. It's projected, actually it's 19%, it grew 19% this year, 2013. And it's projected to just keep growing. From when I started working in this category, I can remember taking a lot of credits out. It wasn't turning. Now, with all of the emphasis on nutrition, people want to eat healthy, this is a good way to supplement a meal. So people are picking up a bar, they're on the road, whether they're traveling or in a hurry. And this gives you an idea of what some of the categories are that this, look at the buying rate is equal to Campbell Soup, Lay's, and peanuts. I mean, it's crazy. Now this is just showing, it's giving you basically the same information you just saw on that last slide, but it gives you an idea how many trips the consumers make into the store and the basket lane versus, someone who we haven't penetrated yet. I'm a little bit slow here, so just bear with me, I'm sorry. I mean, basically, grocery is the top channel, the grocery supermarket. The category, it's a young category. It's positioned to meet the shopper's needs. The consumer has evolved from the athlete to all family. More than half approach the category with the health and fitness filter. 90% are eating for a healthy lifestyle, filling gaps in their eating habits, desire more variety. They're educated, the education and nutrition. Now I know this is a little bit dark, but grocery is a very important channel to this category, meeting a key need for convenience, something for everyone in the family. And as you can see, the category where it's purchased, 50% is in grocery stores, 25 mass merchandising stores, Club Warehouse 7. Where it's consumed, half of it's at home. 22% at work, 12% in the car. The people that are buying it, 36% of women, 32% are men, are purchasing category for others. So that means they're picking it up at the store, multiples. They're sharing their purchase with other family members. And it's slowly getting out there where we're picking up some traction and penetrating more people. I mean, basically it was created in 1986, and it's, strong growth up 18% is the upside. Busy lifestyle, it's relatively still young. That's the key to this whole thing. There's a lot of growth to be had here. Now, in 1986 is when this began, right? So basically it was for the athlete. Now in 2014, I know this is kind of a crazy picture over there, but it basically says it's for the whole family. Now, same thing here, you know, this is where what I had said a little earlier. Variety is the most important part of this category. You got to keep the mix fresh. They're speaking for Cliff, and I know the other manufacturers as well. They come out with new items a couple times a year, and we refresh the mix. And you'll see they will try items that won't do as well. But it's, you know, they base everything on consumer panels, you know, and they kind of guide the way. If they don't work, they pull them, we refresh the mix. Mom and dad are purchasing for other household members. Nutrition is the key to that. And this gives you an idea of what the shoppers are looking for. Products with specific ingredients, high in calcium, high in folic acid, high omega-3s. I mean, it's basically a good source of energy, good source of protein, anything that's good for you. Lower carbs, lower sugar. I think you'll be reading and hearing a lot about the low sugar content. I know everybody knows about the saturated fat, the whole saturated fat in the press now. This gives you an idea of who your shopper is. 45% female, 54 male, median age 34, and it's shifting towards 18 and 25. Okay, this is another avenue that we're seeing a lot of growth, and I think with the emphasis on nutrition now, it's going to be important that you change the way the store is in the front. When you're checking out, I know, you know, I've seen it as I grown up. Pretty much everything on that front end register going out is candy. I know there's a lot of volume in that, there's a lot of reasons for that, but if you can get the more nutritious products, any mix of bars is working. Cliff tested this. I know Power Bar, Kind, all of those guys are trying to get it on the front end and get it in front of the people going through the register. It helps in a whole bunch of different ways. Impulse sale, household penetration. There's a lot of reasons for that other than just the nutritional side. This gives you an idea of the growth with it being on the front end. A little bit bigger lift naturally because you have more placement up there. You're hitting some consumers that normally don't buy those bars. So if you can get them in front of them, that's why, you know, the shippers are important on the floor as well. I know that on the Cliff side, they offer racks that you can set on top of counters and stuff for up in the front. And I know all the other competition as well does the same thing. Now, this is a unique situation, actually. Most stores don't have this kind of footage in it, but the key part of merchandising that category is in segments, as I indicated back in the first part of the presentation. When you walk down the aisle and you're looking at a bar category that has mixed items everywhere, there's protein bars here, there's protein bars in the middle, the key is to get them organized, and we can help, you know, I can help you with that, and Imperial can help you with that as well. You're going to be able to have access to this presentation, and this last slide basically tells you what goes where, not as far as item mix naturally, but categorizing the correct SKUs in the right area. So if you're, you know, you have to define the categories according to what we call the decision tree that Steve had blown up and is out front. It's also in here. Don't mix it up because you're confusing the consumer and they don't know what to buy. They're just grabbing whatever's there. They may know the line, but the new consumers that you want involved in that category will not. So the more that you can keep that organized, the better off you are. And maintain the variety. I mean, that's all that I can say is just make sure that you have the variety.
Do you provide channel strips identifying the various segments of nutritional bars?
We
talked
don't.
about that.
We don't provide them, but it is something that I can ask about. I mean, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, it sounds like you're advocating to educate the consumer and where the growth is.
Absolutely.
And I imagine Imperial is going to go that route with their planogram. But it seems to me if we have some sort of identification, it'd be the way
Absolutely.
to
I'll-
educate color-coded or something.
I definitely will check with them and see if I can get that for you. You know, by eliminating that, you know, Fran put right on the bottom of there, I mean, we feel that there's 5 to 10% growth just by getting it organized.
I have two other questions for you.
Go ahead.
All
Sorry.
right. You mentioned placement at the checkout registers, wherein most outlets, Candy pays for that register space.
Yeah.
Is there any thought and is there any program that Cliff or any of the others are willing to fund
Well,
to
I
get
know
placement at the
that,
registers?
I know that Cliff will entertain that.
Okay.
I mean,
So
they're
that should be
willing to take
contacted?
it, they're willing to listen to that, and I know that they will evaluate the sales and see if it makes sense for them to do it. I've been in on meetings like that, so I know that they are willing to do that.
Okay. And what I didn't see is this, like a decision tree by the consumer, where do you rate price and the effect of promotion via TPR or weekly ads to help drive that business and making sure we're getting our fair share?
The key on the singles is the multiple sale. Now, you'll see out there, and we try to promote at a 10 for 10 or 5 for 5 on singles. That's the hot price. That's where you want to be on singles. The multi-packs that Cliff sells, they have like a 6-pack box, I'm sure you've seen. There's probably a 10 to 20 cent bar savings by buying that 6-pack. So, you know, you want to give a value there. And we try to structure it in a way, I know Cliff does, I can't speak for everybody else, but they try to structure it in a way where your everyday value's there. So if you're buying, say Cliff bars are $4 for $5 every day, you should be able to buy that for about $1.19 or $1.20, you know, per bar, that 6-pack box. They did a huge survey on this about maybe, I want to say about 6 years ago, and Cliff put a lot of, you know, thought and studied it and everything else, and I think that number, that 10 for 10 is where you want to be on those singles. Protein bars, you're not going to hit that. I mean, if you are, it's not an organic bar, or it's a, you know, it's a smaller serving size, but you're usually like 2 for 3, I would say, every day on that item, and then you can get away naturally in different markets. You can get away with a little bit higher price, but I would say that 4 for 5 every day on the individual bars would be the price to be at on the regular products.
What do you consider to be the ultimate location for that product? And
This one kills
I know you
me.
want to go on the registers with some product, but for your mainline section, what would you consider?
You know, it depends on the store, the chain, how they market the items, but what I find is that we've done it both ways. We've hit it in the pharmacy, near the vitamins. The ideal situation is to be have that one-stop shop where you have maybe the aisle where Gatorade is, and you have your supplements, your bars, all of that in that same area. I mean, that's the key, but it's very hard to do because everybody has a different, a lot of people run it through HBC or general merchandise, and you want to keep all of that, and that's grocery space on the other side. So as long as all the bars are together, don't put protein bars in one spot, and you want to treat that as a full category, because even diet and all of that should be in that same aisle. It should be right next to it. So you're shopping that whole section.
You think like the SIDS should go together? Should you have like Chewy bars, Nature Valley bars? Should that be in the same set, or that's totally different?
Well, granola bars are different. These have, omega-3s, there's special vitamins, there's protein, there's where the Nature's Valley or that type of a bar is more a good for you bar. It's a snacking bar. It's usually pretty high in carbohydrates. It contains sugar. I mean, there's a lot of things that are different than this side. We run into that because Cliff has Crunch. And they say, do we want to go in grocery or do we want to go in with the bars? And honestly, I would put them in with granola bars because that's where they should be. But at the same time, single bars, it wouldn't hurt if that granola bar set was in the same aisle. I think that would be awesome if you could get it in there. It's just very hard, and I know everybody probably deals with this, where you have different parts of the supermarket where groceries, that's their space, and GM that's their space, and produce, that's my space. But at the same time, if they could look at it as a full section and look at it with an open mind, I think cereal, granola bars, this category, juice, like that would flow, Gatorade, that would be a great aisle to have if you could put it all together. Any other questions? I hope I did okay here. This is the first time with a group like this. Oh yeah, up here on the front, Fran with his hobbling knee gave me a big box of goodies, so feel free to take one of each. I don't only have a certain amount, but help yourself. There's some travel mugs, some builder levels, some construction pencils. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
I had a clip bar for lunch.